What you know about me? Seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I've done it all, just want it all. Oh, what you know about me? I've seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me?
Hey, welcome back to another episode of More Than the Title. This is episode 106, and I'm your host as usual, Jarrett Thomas, Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And you know I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Chadeo. What's good, baby?
We in the building, man. Yo, listen, man, I'm excited for this episode. Let me get the horns real quick, man.
Let's get it, baby. It's gonna be legendary.
Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, man. Yo, I'm feeling good today. Me and my cousin, man, we've been having a lot of good conversations based on a lot of feedback from you guys, man. You guys are providing some, some real strong motivation. You know what I'm saying? We were featured on another podcast this morning, and we appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm feeling good, man. And guess what, man? This is a special episode for you guys. This is the first time in 105 episodes that we've ever had another co-host on the show. We got a special co-host for you guys, man.
So
only right, man. It's only right.
Doesn't need any introduction, but he's earned it. Former middleweight champion, our brother Peter Quillin, aka Kid Chocolate. What's good, baby? My guy.
Yo, you know what, brothers? I'm so blessed to be here with you guys. I'm just blessed to be part of this, man. Let's get it.
Of course, bro. We appreciate you, man. We're honored to have you here, champ. Like we thought, man, this is a special episode. We're gonna introduce this brother we have, and I can't wait to hear
hold on, Jared. Hold on, bro. You know you get it.
Hey yo.
He earned the name. He earned the name.
That's how we not using that nickname.
I said AKA Kid Jock. He got the name up. My brother, he was knocking niggas out for it. He earned it. Let a nigga say that. I ain't gonna say it. You my guy. I have to battle rap you or some shit. I ain't fighting your ass.
I love it. Let's do it, man.
I love you, bro. You already know, man. Before we begin, shout out to y'all, man. The followers, the listeners, subscribers. Like Cuzzo said, we're growing and glowing across every platform. Right now, we are above 250,000 views just on YouTube alone. 5 months of being on the platform is all because of y'all, man. We really appreciate y'all. Thank you for the tap in, love, and all that, man. We really appreciate y'all, man. Straight up. This is for the culture. We do it for the culture. We stopped our jobs. We did everything for this, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please believe and understand. If you didn't understand what he said, let's say it to you again. With 3 months passed into this year, already we're at 250,000 views, which means we're already on track. The first quarter isn't over. We are on track to hit 1 million views just on YouTube this year. Thanks to the support from the people. We love you guys, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Straight up.
Y'all get on.
Get a horn, and please do that. And also shout out to our distribution partners, the Live Podcast Network. So this is the first woman-owned, black-owned podcast network in the world, y'all. We don't walk it, we don't talk it, we walk it. We support our own. So if you want more content from black content creators like More Than the Title, make sure y'all download the app, scan the QR code, and plus a bonus, every time you guys download this app and actually pay for the service, it goes back to the creators, y'all. There's no other apps that's doing that. It's for us. It's for the people. Shout out to Angel, the entire team. You did?
Yep. Shout out to the boss lady.
That's it, man. With that being said, let's
start the show.
Get it rocking, man. So I'm gonna give a quick background story, man. So I met this brother on Instagram. I think it was through the walkthrough that we did in Forest Projects.
Okay.
And we end up interacting with each other. And I did some background on this brother's story, man. And it's simply incredible, man. It's nonetheless, man. So this brother is the film co-producer and primary representative of the Classen family, the eldest son of Willie Macho Classen. Willie Jr. was 9 years old when his father was tragically killed in the ring. And he's a boxer aficionado, a trainer. He's made his mission to get his father's story out to the world. After the tragic passing of his father, he was in the streets of the Bronx, ran with the infamous Boy George crew, and unfortunately did 15 years in federal prison for his crimes. But he also came back as a triumph and a redemption story and is now serving the community, doing positive things, working with the kids, and also a trainer at Mayweather Gyms right now in Florida, y'all. Let's introduce our brother, Willie Classen Jr., baby.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Yes.
Come on, man.
Appreciate you guys. I'm glad to be here today. Definitely excited to let the people know about what's going on in the boxing world, what we doing with Mayweather, and we saving lives, man. Give them a little background story about my dad, Willie Macho Classen, who was killed in Madison Square Garden in 1979 in the fell form. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Like that was when I did the research on it, bro. I did the research, and it was because of what happened with your fathers. The reason why the boxers now have to actually walk. There's the reason why they have ambulance now and all the doctors and services they have now, which is really incredible, bro. Because it was like it say that happening saved so many lives behind it.
Yes. The reason why, like back in 1979, when my father was killed in the ring, they didn't have an ambulance present in the arena at that time. So back then, my dad sat in the ring and waited for ambulance for at least 40 minutes with some serious brain trauma. So we went to court and we changed the boxing rule. Now every boxing event around the world gotta have an ambulance present. It's actually called the Classen rule. It's called the Classen rule. So every time I see an ambulance in a boxing arena, I get excited and I'm like, wow, that's made changes to boxing today. Even when the two opponents go to the front of the ring and touch gloves, that's called the Classen rule also. A lot of people don't know about it, but my dad sacrificed his life in the boxing ring, and we did a great story. It took 5 years for us to make. My director, his name is Harrison Heller. He's our main director of the film. And we putting it out there. Hopefully, right now we got it to some hands on people on Netflix. So hopefully, the blessings will come to flourish.
No, it will, bro. It will, man. Straight up and down, man. That's incredible, bro. I would love to know, like, leading up to that, like, what was life like before that, bro?
Well, life before that was kind of tough, growing up. My mom had me when she was 14 years old. I grew up with my grandmother. I lived in the South Bronx, Brook Avenue, 139. A lot of people familiar with that. And I always grew up as an athlete, always boxed. But when I was a young kid, my dad never wanted me to fight professional. He said it was a cool sport. So he made my grandmother make a promise that I will never fight, but to teach the sport and have fun with it, but do not fight it. So I had to keep the promise, and I just fought as an amateur and enjoyed it. And then I stopped. And then, of course, not having a father figure, living in the Bronx and Brook Avenue, I got caught up in the streets. You know what I mean? And graduated out of high school. I was go to Clinton High School, and got caught up. People don't know me. I was in the Boy George case. I'm one of the real ones, of course. You know what I'm saying? Kept it 100. A lot of people respect me, and I respect the people. I know what I did. What I did was wrong, and that's why I'm giving back to the community now. I did 15 years and 6 months in federal prison. I was a model inmate. I did the right thing, and I came home, and now I'm giving back to the community. And when
gotta get the screaming baby for that. Come on.
Yeah. So I done traveled to Australia, and I lived in Australia for about a year. I taught some boxing to save lives, because there was 7 people a day committing suicide, and we had a program with a good friend of mine in Australia, and I was there for a year. We saved lives with boxing. Boxing is incredible, man. What it could do for people, you know what I mean, and what it did for me. This is all I know how to do. You know what I mean? It's something that I love. The reason why, because I could work with the people. So that's what's great about it.
Yeah,
that's real.
I love it, man. But I gotta correct you on something. We don't like it when people come in, and our company is called OTB, Outside the Box, right? But it starts with your mental thinking. Please, brother, you don't have to listen to me, but don't ever say that that's all you know how to do.
Definitely, absolutely, yeah.
Never say that again, right? You
more than title,
talented, brother. You have survived the prison system. You know how to survive. There's a lot of things that you knowing how to do to survive being in prison, not jail, prison for 15 years, right? So don't ever say that that's all you know how to do. That might be your passion in the moment, but you are extremely talented, and that's the message that we're putting through. It's not all you know how to do, but it's what you're putting your energy into right at this moment.
Definitely. Most definitely.
That's a fact.
And I'm also curious too. Yo, brother Pete, man, did you ever know that rule was called the Classen rule?
I just learned that. I wrote it as a note right here. I thought it was very important. So I come on here as a learner. I want to learn as much as I can. But most importantly, I want to ask you.
We losing you a little bit on audio.
You're losing your audio, Pete.
Can you hear me?
Nah, can you adjust your audio?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
It's all good. Technology, we technology.
Yeah.
I know the vibes, y'all.
No.
Nah.
No, can't hear me at all.
Now we
Now
can
we
hear
hear
you.
you. Now we hear you. We live, baby. We rocking.
I'm in the gym, so I'm letting you know, Willie, I'm so amazed what you're saying about what boxing did. So I want to ask you, what was your father's style like? What's the biggest thing that your father taught you about boxing?
Well, my father always taught me, to be disciplined. Boxing is a disciplined sport. You know what I mean? It's something you gotta love to do. And I used to go to the gym with him. My father used to actually train in St. Mary's Boxing Club in the South Bronx.
Yeah.
Probably familiar with that gym.
Shout out to St. Mary's. Oh.
Mary's. Yeah. So, we used to train with David Vasquez, let him rest in peace, one of the coaches back then. And going to the gym and watching him train, you know what I mean, was big for me at a young age, and knowing that my father used to walk around the streets of the Bronx and the people knew who he was. They was like, oh, look at look at Willie Macho Classen. That's Macho Classen. You know what I mean? So it was an honor to be around him doing that and seeing his discipline for the sport, because he definitely loved it, man. He loved it.
Oh man, that's real, bro. I want to ask you a real question, bro, because with something like that happening, obviously it's in your blood, it's in your family, with the sport. But like, to stay there, do you stay in boxing because you feel more connected to Pops? Because like, some people would have just left the sport entirely because that would be a sore spot for the family and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a connection, a family connection. That, because my grandfather, he used to box also. And he used to box in Puerto Rico. So, my dad's from Puerto Rico, my whole family. But it's definitely a connection, especially coming out of the South Bronx. Like, we all went to the boxing gym. That was our go-to place. You know what I mean? So we definitely enjoy boxing. But growing up with great names, seeing Julio Cesar Chavez, Mike Tyson, all the greats, but my dad, he was almost one of them. He is one of the greats, but just people don't know their history. Because like I said, in the 70s, 1979, it was a long time ago. Like, that fight was on Wide World of Sports on national TV. So, wow. But boxing is big, man, in the Bronx, man. You know what I'm saying? The kids love it, and that's what it made it. It's a tradition for me, boxing. And, I always try to tell the kids when I'm working with kids, like, listen, you might not be Floyd Mayweather. You might not be, Peter Quillin, but, you might have a chance. Just have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have fun with it, you got to give it 200%, man. It's a tough sport. I'm kind of glad that I just teach it.
Yeah.
Because you got to be tough, man.
Okay, man. You're preaching.
Yeah. I think what we need to start doing more as a culture is allowing our kids to understand that not only is it a sport, but it's a business. Okay. A lot of us grew up looking at sports as just that, sports, and not as a business, not as a way to generationally provide for your family, right? Not as a way to get a free education. Like, a lot of people don't know about sports related scholarships. This can get you a free ride to college, right? This can pay for your college just in case you're in financial duress and your family cannot afford for you to get a education. So I think one of the first things that we need to do is start looking at sports as a more broad thing and say, yes, how you doing, Marilyn? Not only as sports, right, but as a way to, again, generationally, support our families, right? And when we start looking at it as a business, I think more people will start taking it more seriously, because, like you said, even if you're not a boxer, do you know how many jobs are related to dealing with boxers? Trainers and this and this and that, right? Per one boxer, how many people have to interact with him? A glove man, or this man, a cut man. One boxer gives 15 people a career, a job, right? So once we start educating people about what sports entitles in general, then I think a lot more of our youth will start taking an interest into it. You know what I mean?
Plus, in the Bronx, you better have hands out here.
I mean,
I'm telling these young, you better have some hands in St. Mary's, man.
It's the Bronx, man. St. Mary's, everybody was throwing down anyway.
You better have some hands in St. Mary's.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, yeah, man.
I'm interested to ask you this. Well, what you think your dad will be thinking about what you're doing today, and what kind of values do you try to let live on that your father taught you, and what's your biggest message out there, bro?
Well, my biggest message is, boxing is fitness. Boxing and fitness, it's a way of life to exercise. You don't have to be a professional boxer. You don't have to get hit in the face to be fit. You can go to the boxing gym and be fit, hit the boxing bag, get a coach that's in the boxing gym. There's plenty of boxing gyms in the city, man, that, I had so many clients I used to take to Mendez Boxing Gym, when it was downtown on 23rd Street, and people love it. People love hitting boxing mitts. Like I seen Peter Quillin hitting boxing mitts with some of his clients. And guess what? They young and they old. I got clients that got MS. I got clients that got Parkinson's disease. I got clients that have been going through struggles. And guess what? Boxing saves lives, man. It's amazing. And it's a lifesaver. I'm so happy to be here in Melbourne, Florida, in Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, man. And the community we have over here, that there's really no boxing gyms over here. You know what I mean? And when Carrie and Chan, who are the owners of Mayweather Boxing Gym here in Melbourne, Florida, man, we changing lives over here, man. And it's great. It's like a piece of me that I give to them, and they excited. If you go to my Instagram and see the videos and hear the music, and guess what? They punching bags and hit and miss. They don't have to get hit. That's what they love about nothing.
That's a fact, man.
It's dope, man. You know what I mean? Like he said, it's education. Look what he said. It's fitness, right? And what do we tie fitness into? Not only fitness good for the body, but for the mind, right? It lets you have a creative space to express what you're going through, maybe your anger, maybe some traumas, maybe some emotional issues, and you can express that constructively and not, deconstructively, where you're doing something to not only hurt yourself, but maybe hurt somebody else. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, that type of opportunity, once again, that, believe it or not, Will, believe it or not, kid, brother Pete.
I'm about to say, I couldn't wait for this.
Why'd you reach for that button? I caught myself.
Yeah, you gonna get on me
now. I got a question for both of you, and brother Pete, you can answer this first, right? You see, one of the sore spots in the Black and brown community that is under talked about, right, is mental health amongst young Black men, right? And we don't understand truly what, and like my man EA, Eric Allen, talks about what recovery is, what therapy is. It's not just for drugs, it's about your mental capacity, right? Did you know when you started boxing, brother Pete, that your boxing was a form of mental therapy, right? A place for you to mentally put, your anger and your anxiety and whatever you were going through into it. Did you look at it that way, or did you just look at it as a sport?
I looked at it as, but I was also looking at it as an exit, where it was like a door for opportunity that I could fight my way to the top, But I also know what I know now. When you go back to your life and look at where you at now, I know now I was fighting trauma. I was fighting all kind of stuff that I acknowledge those things now. So the Black and brown, I like that you said that, because most Black and brown people don't like to deal with trauma. And curse us to be in a certain place in our lives. And, I got up, man, trying to fight for the love of my moms, bro. Honestly, what made me want to be this boxer that I basically was trying to fight to be, just to tell my mom, I told you I can do it. But I learned as time went by that it wasn't meant for me to do that, the path and the journey that I took. And like Will, I'm hearing him, I'm relating to him so much, because now it seems like we doing something similar to what I'm doing. Like all kids that I'm training here, or people that I'm training, I teach them, bro, we all fighting something. Whatever that is, we gotta. It's the person in the mirror that you actually fight. And once you learn to beat that person up every day, you winning at the fight. So I like that Will is using the kind of aspect of boxing being therapy, because I call it mine boxing therapy for people who fight some. So I'm just so enthused right now being on with a brother that kind of share the same mindset, and especially my brother has caused him to be in a certain place, like his journey. You know, my brother, you was like, you did how many years in prison you did? Wasn't that not a fight to be in there, brother?
Oh, it's a war. A war.
Shitting me, word.
You know what I mean? What you learned from those fights? I want to know what you learned from those fights being at those times in your life, my brother.
Hold on, brother Peter's pardon. Brother Peter's pardon. I love this shit.
You know, going there at a young age, you know, I was just 17 years old when I went into federal prison, and I pretty much grew up to learn how to be a man in federal prison, you know, and you know, I met a lot of good people that they never gonna see the streets again, and all you can do is get enlightened by it, you know, and in times that even in my last like 10 years while I was in prison, I ended up bumping into Floyd Mayweather Sr., who was a good friend of mine, who's actually my cellmate for a couple of months.
You was in federal penitentiary?
Yeah, I was in the federal system. Yeah.
Where? Not in Miley, Michigan, was you?
No, I didn't go to Milan. I was at I've been through Lewisburg, I've been through Allenwood, Otisville, you know, Texas. I've been all over the place, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, I met a lot of good people there, you know, and all you could do is stay focused, man. You know, you got to stay focused. You know, you can't make a mistake, because that mistake could cost you your life over there.
Yeah,
so
how do you
message?
What are some of the things that you did to help you stay focused, bro? Because that's tough, man. It's hard to stay. That's the hardest place to be focused.
Yeah, well, pretty much, you know, I'm a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? I was in the Nation of Islam for many years, and you know, I worship Allah, and that's what kept me going, man. And was around my brothers, you know, was around good brothers, righteous people. You know, you had the Sunni Muslims, all righteous brothers going to Kupas, just getting educated, you know, reading good books and just staying away from the nonsense, you know, because you can get into some nonsense in the prisons and get caught up. But me, I was, you know, I had my eye on the prize. I wanted to go home, you know, and I wanted to be with my family, you know, and my family was my number one support. You know, I grew up in a household of all women. All women was in my house, you know, and my sisters, like they my aunts, but they really my sisters. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here today. If it wasn't for my sisters and my grandma, you know what I'm saying, and who I lost my grandma. But my sisters are my heart. They my life. They the ones that kept me strong and made sure that I got out of there, you know.
That's real, man. That's real, man. Shout out to all the strong women. We just had Women's History Month episodes. Maybe we celebrating the queens, man, this month, man. I'm also like, for those who are not familiar with the story, bro, can you tell them, like, lead them up to how you got to prison, what was going on? Because I'm curious, what was life like after what happened with your pops, and how your street started to influence you, what happened there, and then going into that.
Well, you know, what happened was, you know, growing up in the Bronx, you know, I lost my dad. You know, it was a tragedy in my family. You know, it's all over the media, and growing up poor, you know, growing up poor and just struggling. And it was just my grandma and all my aunts, like I said, all women in the house. I just got caught up, you know. If you're going to stop drinking, you got to get out the bar. You can't hang out in the bar. Well, the neighborhood where I grew up at, it was just drug infested, you know. So, you know, it's hard to get out of that. I was just bumping into that, you know, you meeting hustlers, you meeting this person, and I just happened to meet the right guy at that one time. And, you know, his name is Boy George. I met him, and my life pretty much changed in a matter of 24 hours.
Message. Hey, 24 hours.
Within 24 hours, I met him. After 24 hours, I was making $100,000 a day. Like, it was incredible.
Message.
Yay.
You can get
hold on, Will. You cannot, certain things you just can't speed past, man.
That's crazy.
You cannot speed past that. Ladies and gentlemen, he just told you that he met a person and that person changed his life within 24 hours, right? We just had a brother on the show for fan appreciation, Eric Allen, and we talked about the power of influence. The power of influence, when a person has enough influence, money, and power to influence a person's life, when they know what they might be doing might be negative, but the reward is so overwhelming for what you're going through that you're willing to put yourself in a position that you know is wrong, with a possibility of, I can do this for a little bit of time and then, you know, escape from it with the proceeds from it. We just had this conversation. Did we not?
No, that's crazy.
We just had this conversation. So you can't speed past that, because that's an important topic, because too many people do not understand why urban youth gets involved in the hustle game, and we get involved in the drug game and things of that nature, because it's the fast, immediately changing your life type money. It's the possibility of changing your life overnight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it does change your life. And as you know, I was a young kid. So, you know, when you at that age, you know, you don't care. You just like, you just getting this money and you focus, you know what I mean? And my life pretty much changed. I start seeing the world differently, and you start thinking you're untouchable, and, you know, and it was a 5-year long run. Like, you like, wow, what's going on here? You know, but my grandmother always told me, this. She said, listen, I did everything I could do for you. You know, I can't tell you what to do no more. She said, it's either going to be death or prison, you know.
Message.
And I guess God blessed me with prison, because, you know what I'm saying, I'm here today, you know, and I'm blessed because I left in an era that a lot of people didn't survive after that.
That's real.
It's a blessing for me to be here today, man. And my message to the kids, man, listen, man, don't do it. It's not worth it. I had the best times of my life when I was broke, when I was a kid, when I used to pull out that TV and put it in front of the house and watch the Yankee games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those were the best times of my life.
Dreaming baby again.
Yeah. I just want to let me ask you a question, Will, because you said you went to Clinton, right? And I know for a long time Clinton was only males only, right? Did you go in that era when it was males only, or when you went they had opened it up to be co-ed? Because it wasn't always co-ed.
They just opened it up to co-ed.
The reason I asked that, because my uncle went to Clinton also. You understand what I'm saying? And when he's a little older than you, it was still all male. So I was wondering if you were in that era.
Yeah. It was a sports school. Yeah, so it was a sports school. So that's why I went to Clinton. That's where they sent me.
Well, it wasn't a sports school. They had sports. I went to Kennedy, so you know what we do.
I know what you mean.
So you know, y'all had sports, but you know.
I also want to paint the picture of what the fuck the Bronx was like there during that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
During that time, man, especially in that area. So for those who are not familiar with the Bronx, right, we got family down there. We from the same area, 138th, Willis, you know what I mean? Mitchell Project, like we from the family out there, my whole entire family. You know what I'm saying?
You know why? Because that's also classified as the South Bronx. That's all the South Bronx.
That place, even to this day, I still feel like it has a dark cloud on that block.
100%.
It's so fucking hard to get out of the shit, man. It's hard to be positive when all you see is the shit all around you. If you're not familiar with it, that's all that's down there, yo. And so for you to be a young kid going what you went through, and then having the opportunity to make $100,000 a day, bro, and then moving how you have to be a fucking savage to get that. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Like in that era, in that time.
Yeah. In that time, that era was pretty much hustlers respected hustlers back then. You know what I mean? Like if you would see a hustler like that, you'd be proud, like he's getting money. Like, oh man, that's nice. That's pretty cool. You know, we wasn't like running around killing each other, man. Which I'm so glad that wasn't in my era. You know, everybody just wanted to drive pretty cars and dress nice and enjoy life. You know, but back in the 80s, man, it was a whole different cloud, man. You know, my hobby was boxing, right, and flying pigeons on the roof. Like, you know, that was the thing.
Shit. You want some Mike Tyson shit now, Will.
The training.
You making pigeons flip, Mike? I mean, Will.
Yeah, hey, listen, man. Listen, we all had coops, man. You know, my uncle. It started from when my uncle. He's like, yo, listen, man, you're gonna have to take over this pigeon coop, man, because I can't do it no more.
Will, I got a pigeon coop in my backyard right now.
Oh, come on, brother.
He don't tell you.
Hold on.
I'm gonna tell him I had a raccoon break in my pigeon coop and killed all my pigeons.
Oh.
But that traumatized me.
Damn!
Not even that. Let's just tell you a secret. Will, I used to live on 182nd and Watson Street in the Bronx.
Yeah.
So y'all make me. I'm glad I ain't come up in there in the 80s like all y'all did. But yo, I want to ask you a question about your grandmother. I heard you say about your grandmother. How's her supported you through incarceration? And what kind of influence did your grandmother? Was your grandmother outside of your pops a real big influence to you?
Well, yeah, my grandmother's she was my backbone, man. She was the one that took me to the gym. She was the one that took me to run long distance marathons. You know, she was the one there for me 24 hours a day. You know, I was like gonna be her hero. Like, you know, she was like, you gonna be the one to make it out of here, you know. And she was a strong woman, man. Strong woman. She lived to be 100. You know, we lost her a couple of years ago, but you know, she was all we had, you know. And during my incarceration, she just waited for me. She just said, don't worry, you're gonna make it through. Just take it a day at a time. And you know, I would call her every day. You know, she just didn't want to come see me in that position, you know. But all my sisters came to visit me, you know, family came to visit me, my mom came to visit me, my brothers came to visit me. And, you know, of course, a lot of close friends of mine like Benji and Puso. Benji was who I love, who's like a brother to me, who is my brother that I love so much, came to see me. But my family really was there 100%. They was my backbone and my support, man. Without them, I would have never made it, man. So family is very important, man. If you don't have family, it's hard, man. It's gonna be real hard. So family is very important, man.
Yeah. And what they say, Jarrett, all the time, right? One thing that every hood, don't matter what hood you from, you know this, right? When a person does a bid, you don't do the bid alone. The family does the bid with you.
Oh, absolutely.
The family does the bid with you, right? So it's not just you locked up, because when you are removed from your family dynamic, they have to cope with whatever void you have now created by being incarcerated. And then now they, you know, the ones that stand by you, like your grandmother, has to now ensure that they're doing anything and everything possible to support you so that you can come home with a clear mindset, with a positive mindset, and try to put your life back on track, man. So, you know, when a person gets locked up, it's not, you know, for anybody that's listening, for anybody that gets locked up, it's not them that just do the bid, man. It's anybody that is close to them, that's trying to help them come home safe and productive. You're doing the bid with them. You're doing the bid with them. Visits, letters, right? Commissary money. All of that matters, man. All of that matters when you're locked up and you're feeling like you're by yourself, you're isolated, you're feeling like you're alone. You know, without that, it can be detrimental to your progression, and it really will determine if you actually make it out.
Yeah, that shit is a lot, man. I tell my friends, I got one with you. One with you. You know what I mean? I rock with you and all that, but second or third bid, like, you know what I mean? I can't go see the jail. Like you said, it's your grandmother, I'm the same way, man. I can't go see my brothers or anybody like that.
Listen, it took me one time. That's it.
That's it, yo. That's it.
You know,
I got one time.
Yeah. I outside of my father, because I, you know, when I was younger, we used to go up to Attica and sing. I remember getting on the bus, and me and my mother for hours, and stopping at the rest stations. It was crazy when my father was locked up. But I think I've only went to see like one person ever in jail, and you know, it's like my god brother. I love him to death. You know what I'm saying? He went to school with me, played football, should have gotten a full scholarship to college for what he was doing in that football field, but end up getting caught up in a self-defense situation, man. And you know, it didn't work out for him, you know, and he ended up doing a bit, and he's one of the only people that I actually have ever gone to see in prison, because it's a lot, man. It's a lot. It takes a toll on you.
That shit is definitely a lot, man. And what, bro? So What was one of the biggest lessons you learned during your time in the streets, bro, that you kind of carried with you now? What are one of the biggest obstacles you've overcome during that period, bro?
Oh, while I was in the streets?
Yeah. And like cause it all is a lesson, because like, you know, what we try to do with the More Than Title, bro, we try to really show the story and how you've progressed, man. And like, as you're saying it right now, I'm seeing the different peaks and valleys of your life, man. There's different stages and phases, you know what I mean? So I'm curious, in that phase, like, what was the lesson you learned? Because like, you went in there prison, you changed your mind. That was the biggest thing I heard from you. You went in there, you became Muslim, you got more in touch with who you are, your spirituality, things like that. That's major. Was it something like that led to that?
Yeah, definitely. You know, being a young kid and you know, going in front of a judge and a judge sentencing you to 210 months in federal prison for conspiracy, for, you know, I never committed a crime in my life. Like murderers were going home before me, and I didn't kill nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it was a pretty hard thing for me to understand. But you know, as a young kid back then, you know, I was like, my thoughts were this, like, okay, I'm 18, I'll be home when I'm 34. Like, you know, I did what I did, fine, I'm just gonna do my time, you know. But after the years pass, you start thinking about it, you're like, wow, like, this is serious, you know what I mean? And people don't realize it until they go inside a prison. You know, if prison walls could talk, man, woo, they got some stories for you. So it's serious. So, you know, it definitely got to humble yourself, especially nowadays. Is a new time in this world, man. You have to be humble. You got to humble yourself with people. You got to be nice to people, man, because you don't know what they doing. You know, you don't know what they up to. You know, and that's why I'm a traveler. I like meeting people. You know, I always tell people, like, yo, just be humble, man. Humble yourself. It's gonna be all right. And just smile to your brother. You know what I mean? But they have to get out that environment. That environment's hard to get out of. You know, like I was stuck in that environment where I couldn't get out. You know? But if you know, and I had a strong family. I had sisters that worked. Everybody worked in my family and did the right thing. You know what I mean? But you out there, man, and you know, and as a young kid, you like, okay, I want to go here. I want to do this. I need some nice sneakers. I need this, you know, and stuff like that. What really changed my life, man, I really had nobody to take me to the gym. I used to train with Hector Camacho Sr. He used to come to my house or in roller skates and pick me up and take me to the gym in Harlem.
Press the button. I didn't press the button. I'm trying to throw you off.
I just didn't like the tone of that, man. Another minute.
Listen, if you know Hector Camacho, man, 3-time world champion, man. And he loved my dad and he honored my dad. And he said, listen, and he said he tried to pick up where my dad couldn't left off. And he used to take me to the gym, you know, every day. We used to walk or jog to the gym. He'll pick me up from the Bronx and take me to the gym. And I was young, but it's gotten to a time where he got to another level in boxing. I knew him when he was not in that level. So he couldn't pick me up no more. Because why? He had to go train in the Catskills. He had to do certain things. So I got caught up in the streets. You understand? I remember him pulling up on me one day on Brook Avenue. He pulled up in his Ferrari. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay. So he pulls up in his Ferrari and he's like, yo, Will, what are you doing? Like, you know, he see me with the big chain, the Rolex, the nice car. I'm like, yo, you know, I had nobody to take me to the gym. I got caught up in the streets. He was sad about it. He's like, whoa, this ain't the right thing, man. You know, but what are you going to do? He had his career he had to do. He had his career. He got to train out of town. You know, things change for boxers, you know, and stuff like that. And it's hard for some boxers, you know, they ain't in that world by themselves. Peter could tell you how it is, you know.
Well, I'm soaking up everything, right? So I got a boxing question. I got another, because you said something. I wanted to show you that I was listening. I just want to know, what would those prison walls say about you, my brother?
Well,
he's potting. My fault. Yeah, my
Oh,
fault. Man. This brother's
brother
potting. Yeah, hold on. This brother.
come to play on Pete right here.
Woo,
Hold on. And with that, brother Pete, we have officially entered third period. Brother Pete ain't come to play, boy. Woo! That was the
you got the tough questions.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man. All I can say that the Wars is gonna say that Will was gonna make it out of there. Will did prayer. Prayer works. You know what I'm saying? I stood in my prayers. I stood writing letters, communicating with my family, with my friends. You know, and just staying to myself. You know. Listen. While I was in the penitentiary, I didn't shed one tear, man. You know what I'm saying? You know when I shedded tears? When I walked out that door for my freedom. That's when I said, wow, I'm finally here. You know what I mean?
That's real.
And it's hard because I was coming out to a new world.
Yeah.
To a new world, man. And a lot of people can't recover off that. You know?
Real.
That's a fact.
Remind me what Shannon said.
I wanna just chime in on this again. We're gonna relate this back to education, right? As a street kid myself, we were undereducated, and we talk about this all the time. Again, on the show is education. If you're gonna do crime, then you need to understand the legal system, right? If you're gonna do crime, then you should understand the legal system of how to get away with, or at least deal with it when you get caught. So for anybody that don't know. One of the conspiracy charge is a very simple charge. We call it the Fed's catch-all charge. It's the catch-all, right? NYPD has a catch-all charge. It's called disorderly conduct. If they want to just bring you in, run your prints, harass you, it gets thrown out. But if they want to arrest you, disorderly conduct. That's their catch-all. But the Fed's catch-all charge is conspiracy. The problem with the Fed's catch-all charge with conspiracy is what people don't understand is conspiracy is so vague. It's written to be so vague that it almost doesn't have a statute of limitations on it, right? It almost doesn't have a statute of limitation. They can say, did you say this 5 years ago? And you'll be like, okay, conspiracy, right? So conspiracy is so vague that they can tie this thing in to almost any crime that you do. Now, the problem with that is the mandatory minimums that the feds have, right? And that's why Will can say, I got charged with conspiracy, and there were people that committed murder that's going home before me. So that's important for you guys to know, right? For anybody that has ever been arrested for drugs and things of that nature, again, here's a little bit of education, right? This is how the feds get you. It is illegal to spend what's called illegal, elicited, obtained money, period. That's conspiracy. Example, if Will hung out with Boy George and Will doesn't have a job, but Will drives a $100,000 Mercedes and the feds snatch Will and go, is this your car? And he goes, yeah, this is my car. They go, okay, show us what job you have that you can afford a $100,000 car to show that this car was purchased legally. And the moment you can't show that, they're going to say, well, you got this car from illegal money. That's conspiracy right off the bat. You can be charged with conspiracy for just that. If you buy your girlfriend a bag, if you buy your girl some shoes, if you provide a lifestyle for your family, buy your family's houses, etc., that is conspiracy. And one of the most famous cases of the conspiracy charge working is the BMF case, right? The BMF case. You wonder why Big Meech and Terry took 33 years? Because their mamas, their aunts, and everybody had mansions and everybody was living a lifestyle that they did not provide. So when the feds go, you want to fight this case? Okay, no problem. But when you lose, not only are we taking everything that you own, but we're going to go take your mother's house, your aunt's house, and everybody that we can show that they can't prove how they got this money to live that lifestyle. Not only can we take their houses and seize their assets, we can charge them with conspiracy.
Message.
Then they can go to jail for 15, 20 years. That's how they get you. And that's why a lot of people plead out and take the deal to save their family and to protect others. So conspiracy is very dangerous, man. Again, educate yourself. If you're going to do something, you need to know the ins and outs of what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? It's dangerous, man. It's very, very dangerous. And unfortunately, in the urban communities, we are not taught that because nobody cares. Nobody cares to learn the legal system. Nobody cares to educate themselves. You only care about, like Will said, this is changing my life in the moment. It's working. We had a good run. Whatever your run is, you're feeling invincible. You see, you let the lifestyle take over the common sense, and unfortunately, you don't face reality until you have to face reality.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's like a mic drop right there, though. You know, I'm not gonna lie with that statement alone.
Message.
It gets another.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you what it is, because anybody that's ever gotten in trouble, once again, you get in trouble, you get caught. First thing you want, okay, lawyer, but your lawyer does what you tell him to do, right? Your lawyer works for you, and the lawyer takes direction from you. You understand? So if you know what you're talking about, then you can guide your lawyer in the right direction to help you fight your case. But if you don't know what you're talking about, then what do most people do when they lose? Oh, I had a public defender. He didn't know what he was doing, but you didn't know what you was doing either.
Exactly.
You didn't give him no direction. You understand? Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, so Will, I want to know, you heard what he just said, right? What kind of things did you learn about going through all your case and everything about, you know, your case that basically can bring knowledge to the people that's listening today? You know, he said a lot right now. What can you say to add on to what he just said?
Well, like he said, you got to educate yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I got co-defendants that had life sentences, but guess what? They got themselves out them life sentences, meaning they was in that law library and they had them books. You know, Bob Lemon Ice, my two co-defendants, they had life sentences. They release date said eternity. They out today because they was in that law library and they studied them cases and they and put motions in after motion after motions, and they out today after doing 26 years.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's important.
It is some of those that be in that library but don't know what they talking about.
It's called the law library. You know, because remember, you know, when you fight in your case, you know, that lawyer, all he's gonna do, the court date's tomorrow. Okay, give me some paperwork and I can read it. Not like my co-defendants, they send all that law paperwork to him and they like, listen, you're gonna read this, you're gonna do this. So they was prepared for the case because he did it himself. You understand? He did.
So I'm going to the street now. What you had all your paperwork. Was there anybody in your paperwork that you were shocked that was in your paperwork?
Meaning shocked in which way?
Like, man, he got something to do. He said something.
Listen, I had 39 co-defendants. 39. Okay. Out of that 39, 30 cooperated.
Well, I say that because people think that crime pays. So I want you to say that again. How many co-defendants did you have in your case, and how many people cooperated?
Yeah, well, I had 39 co-defendants. At least 30 of them cooperated. You know, and they just pointed the finger. You know, it was him. He did it. He did it. George did it. You know,
Hated it.
That's why these guys, you know, they in the street, they tough, but when they get behind that wall, man, and that prosecutor get in front of you, you
turn into this.
They want to cooperate. You know,
gotta listen to him. You can learn something.
That's the first thing they want to do, you know, because that's why I'm glad I grew up in the heart of the South Bronx, and I grew up where it was loyalty. You understand? And whatever you did, you take full responsibility of it. You know, I'm not going to drag you in my problem. You understand what I'm saying? I know what I did was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But there's no respect anymore for, like, if you're going to commit a crime, man, like, and you did it, like, take your weight for it. Why you bringing the next brother down who ain't got nothing to do with it?
Message.
Quick question. I want to ask you a quick question. Will. So, if they were, like, for the ones that did cooperate, what kind of difference in time did they get? Did they get 3 years, 4 years versus your 15? I'm just curious.
A lot of them got released on the spot.
And so, you as an 18-year-old just hit adulthood, facing 15 years, 210 fucking months, stood quiet.
Yeah. So they, you know what I'm saying? You know that you know these guys, like, you know, you think that these are people that sat in my dinner table and had dinner with me, with my family. You understand? So you thinking that, oh man, like, damn, we're gonna be okay. Next thing you know, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Next thing you know what I'm saying? But listen, man, listen, I'm not mad at nobody. I did my time, and you know what I'm saying? I'm changing lives here, you know, and everywhere I go. And like I tell them and the people that did, like, when I was a child, I did childish things. You understand? I'm not mad at anybody. You know, fine, you did what you did. I was the stronger man. You know, life goes on, you know. Yeah, I got a journey now. I got a journey. My journey is you know, is saving people's lives, whether it's in boxing and in anything, in all aspects.
Somebody can hear that story right now and it can save their fucking life. That's why it's so important, bro. That's so real, man. Like, that's why you need to hear that story.
It goes on every day, though, Will. When Master said the dark cloud, be clear. You know, all of those projects down there, Mitchell, you know, 138th, and they've all had the boys run up in there, you know what I'm saying, with those yellow envelopes. And once again, here's education, right? Will, you making $100,000 a day. I'm on the block. Guess what? I might not have never touched a drug a day in my life. I might be the guy when you come up, I just do this and tell you where to go. That's called staring. See? Education, right? That's called staring. Right? That's called staring. You're staring a person in a direction to get the drugs. Now, what? I might make $100 a day. You're making 100. Boy George's making millions. I'm making 100. See, here's the thing, right? This is why they crack, because again, when them yellow envelopes come down, you come down on a RICO charge, you come down under conspiracy. They go, you're a part of what's called now a criminal organization. Right? They didn't arrest you, one person. NYPD didn't snatch you up. The Fed said you are part of this criminal organization, right? So you fall under the charter of this criminal organization. So now guess what? We can tie you to that under the conspiracy charge, you see? And now for you even doing this, okay, don't cooperate. If you get, you can fight the trial, but if you get found guilty, 20 to life, or, you know, mandatory minimum for conspiracy on staring is 17, you know, but in the feds it's months, but again, you know, 20 years, right? 15 years, they're giving them football numbers. A kid that's like $100 a day a week, I wasn't make. Why should I do? That's why they're gonna break. That's why they're gonna break, because they're feeling like I didn't reap the rewards, and that's just one reason. There's a lot of other reasons, but that's one of the main reasons. They're like, I didn't reap the benefits of being to the top, so why should I take the weight of being like a mastermind? I didn't get none of the benefits of it, so why should I protect them when I only was getting? That's why. None of these young kids, 15, 16, 17, you can act as tough as you want, but it's only a select few that's going to stand on business. A lot of them, like you said, once you get them alone, you can talk all that tough shit, that street shit, that game shit, blah, blah, blah. When that door slams and you by yourself and that package come and say, listen, take it or leave it, cooperate, or if you don't, you getting 20 to like 17, 30 people gonna be like, nah, I'm not built for that. No. That happens every single day, right? And that's the disparity amongst making the money versus the consequences of it, right? So you're making $100,000. Watch this. Let's do the math on it, right? You're making $100,000. How often are you making 100,000?
7 days a week.
Okay, so let's say in a week you're making 700,000, right? Let's just cap it off at the end of the year. Say, yo, I made 10 million a year, right? For 5 years. You're like, oh wow, that's $50 million. Okay, fine. Then you gave up 15 years of your life for 50 million. You understand now? So now divide the days that you were locked up by how much money you made. And a lot of people didn't make nowhere near what you made. They might have made 100. Now it ends up that you didn't even make minimum wage.
Exactly.
So for the last 20 years of your life, because you add in what you did, and then when you get caught in the time that you had to do, and that's a number. So then you come out and go, for the last 20 years, what was 20 years of my life worth? $3 an hour.
$3 an hour, exactly.
McDonald's with your pride and flip burgers and made more than that. You see what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right. So it go back to that influence that you were saying. That influence. So like, obviously your environment was aggressive and it kind of influenced you to go your way. But what influenced your pops to be in the gym?
Well, my pops, you know, it like I said, family, boxing. It started from when he was a kid in Puerto Rico. So it was just a boxing thing that he liked, going to the gym and stuff like that. I guess that was the only way for him to stay out the streets also. You know what I mean? Because I guess it was a little harder back then in the 70s, a little harder then. So I wasn't there with him, but as I spoke to a lot of old timers and the interviews I did, they said, listen, man, that was the only way to stay out the streets. It was going to the boxing gym, you know? Like my dad worked at a supermarket, and then he worked at a pizza shop. And then the guy who owned the pizza shop ended up being his promoter. You know what I mean? So it's a great story, man, but it's hard at that. And back in them days in the 70s, and I respect him. He was in great shape. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow, like to see my dad on national TV, like, you know, my father fought Vito Anafirmo, you know, in 1978. And it was a sold out crowd, Madison Square Garden. And my father won the fight, and he got robbed that night. And it was a riot. It was a riot in Madison Square Garden. You know?
How you get the bag and then get robbed? That's
yeah. You know, win the fight, but you know, back then, you know, the Italians had had it boxing on the master grip. But those are days that I sat down in front of the TV and seen my father fight, and I was like, wow, that's my dad right there, you know. And to see it right on TV and then see it in the front page of the Daily News, you know, it was pretty cool to see that, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I ain't go for. I got a question for you, brother P, and I got a question for you, Will. But brother P, how do you balance? Like, was there any time when you was fighting where you was hurt, but your competitive nature and you needing to make ends meet, whatever it is? Like, how do you know when enough is enough, bro?
Well, I don't think I got that in my nature. You know, like when I took a loss to Danny Jacobs, I was going down on my sword. So it depends how a person want to die. You know what I mean? I want to die on my sword. So. You know, but that might get you in trouble because you forget that this is a sport. You do this for money, and I can't be bought. You know what I mean? So what I would say is I learned a lot of things in my life. Like the most valuable thing, brother Will, this is what I do with people that's working in the gym. If you basically feel like you can't continue, take a knee. Learn what that means. Know where you are. Get your stuff over. And I don't think I had that in my mindset to be able to do that. I was willing to die on my sword. So what I would just say, you know, I can't. Somebody asked me yesterday, Pete, would you go back to your boxing career and do anything different? I said no, because I want to learn the wisdom that I got or what I did. A lot of things that Will, when I took my first loss, Will had so much in my family, so many people needed me for things. And those was the voices that was making me feel like I wanted to kill myself. Needed help. People, oh man, Pete, I need help. How much is the problem? 25,000. And on top of that, well, I couldn't say no. I didn't know how to say no. And I was gonna ask you because I had one person in my life that was that person that I was like, man, when I feel like giving up, I feel like I want to kill myself, I would go talk to him. Did your pops have somebody like that? That are you still connected with that person that kind of kept your dad grounded? Well, who that was for your pops? Because I know that one person, and that person is still in my life to this day. I learned something, Will, that people would pay $35,000 to sit ringside to see you lose, and they would call you your friends outside of that ring. Message. You know, message.
Oh, that's a double message.
With that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Well, you know, my dad, I couldn't find them people that was close to him because they had passed away because it was so long ago. But I know this, that you know, my uncle, he was really close to, you know, his brother, and you know, he gave me a lot of great stories and told me about my dad. Like I never got to sit down on a table and have dinner with my dad. I don't know what it is to like. I went with him to the boxing gym. But remember, my mother had me when she was 14 years old, right? So he was always out in the gym training, and I'd be in my grandma's. So he'll come see me when he can, once or twice a week, you know? So I don't have that much great memories with him, but he did have his own family and a wife and kids, you know what I mean? But I'm the only one in the family that kept the legacy on with my dad, you know? But like that's, once the film comes out and you watch the film, you know, there was stuff that I seen that broke my heart. Like my father had a wedding. You know, I seen my father having dinner with his family, and I didn't get to experience that. So, you know, so seeing that, I was like, wow. Like when we was doing the investigating, that my director was like, well, you know, you're gonna see some pictures, you know, you're gonna feel some. I was like, no, let me see it. It's gonna be a great story, you know. But yeah, I felt a lot of pain because, you know, I'm the first son, you know what I mean? And you know, these are things that you know, Marvin Hagler was one of his best friends. You understand? And I tried to get an interview with Marvin Hagler, and he wanted me to pay him for an interview. I'm like, damn, I'm like, this is an independent film, you know. Why I have to pay you? You know, my dad used to go fishing with you.
Bro.
Like, you know, he was like, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna give you no information. I said, it's not a problem. You understand what I'm saying? And stuff like that. But it was a hard journey for me doing them interviews. Very hard journey. But I'm glad I did them. That's why it's so important to be with family, man, because you want to be part of that. You understand? And I got a lot of history about my dad. My dad fought in the UK. I got video footage of that, like stuff that I couldn't imagine, you know. And my dad didn't get paid much then. You know, these guys got paid $1,500. We're doing 15 rounders.
15 rounds.
You know what I mean? So it was a whole different ballgame. Like today, the boxing, like the money these guys is amazing. I'm happy for them. They deserve it, man. Because let me tell you something. It's a hard job, man. That's a job. Like Peter said, you know, they start coming at you. All of a sudden, you got cousins you never met before. You know what I mean?
But $1,500, even back then, $1,500 for a professional sport that was demanding something like 15 rounds. I'm gonna be honest, man. If I was going through that and they was like, "Yo, Chatty, man, get in the ring for $1,500 for 15 rounds," I'd have been like,
"Hell no, to the no."
I'm gonna be honest with you. Will, I'm hitting the streets. 10 minutes, motherfucker. I just made that by talking to you. Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna be honest.
You know, it's tough, man. You know, and I know what Peter's talking about. You know, because that was time. You know, listen, Peter know, but I always been to Peter's fights. You know, when he fought Rosado, I was there, and you know, I seen him in his beautiful family with his baby. You know, I know Peter. Me and Peter sat and talked. Peter was like, "Yo, you want to be my conditioning coach?" He just don't remember. It's a little while ago. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you something. You telling me about Gabriel Rosado. Would you even believe it that I had a nervous breakdown before the fight? Because I had a nervous breakdown. Because first of all, I had family members that never see me a day in the gym. You never came to the gym. Don't talk mess to this dude that I'm fighting. He feeling like he about to knock me out. Don't get this dude more mad than what he is. They was doing that. And I asked myself, like, man, where did they come? I always told my life, bro, Will, that I was going to never have an entourage. And Gabriel Rosado had an entourage. People talking mess, they about to fight. I said, bro, you can't take nothing personal like this, boxing, that you making money off of. I don't know that man like that. I'm going in there to earn the check. So let's keep it business. Let's make it personal. You know what I mean?
Message.
You know, and I had a nervous breakdown, Will. But Will, I would love to catch up with more. I want to sit down, man, and break because there's a lot of things that my cousin I was doing 3 days ago, up to 3 o'clock in the morning. Most of my story, when I was making the money, they wanted to take my money and move it through the streets by people that was in the street doing street betting. I said, man, I don't want my name connected to that. I don't know nothing. When y'all talking about this, I don't know nothing. I don't want to know how much time he about to do. I don't know what he going to jail for. I don't know nothing. I'd rather for me not to know nothing, because if they come and ask me something, like I used to tell my friends, well, y'all get in the car and y'all got stuff and the police pull us over and they say that y'all got something, I'm saying, that's not mine, that's his. I'm telling you that right now, that I'm not. Those are the kind of moments when I'm hearing your story, it's touching my heart. So if a person is going to watch this film, Brother Will, what is the biggest thing you want the viewer to take away from this film, brother?
Well, the biggest thing I want them to take out the film is that to know the history of boxing. You know, my father could have been alive today. He could have been alive. All the athletic commission had to do was make one phone call. And guess that phone call would have cost them $7 to call the UK and know that my father got knocked out in the UK. That means they wouldn't approve the fight, but not to pay. Matter of fact, it was $3 the call. If they would have made that one phone call, they would have said, nah, you can't fight because you got knocked out in the UK.
Damn!
Just because that phone call they didn't make, that cost my father's life. And he fought that fight. Because my father lied. He said, oh, no, I'm in good shape. I didn't get knocked. You know, yeah, I fought a fight over there. Everything went well. But they never called the commission in the UK. So that one thing could have saved my father's life right there. You know what I mean? So, you know, the film, it breaks it down, and the you know, and what I want people to know that this is serious, man. These guys that go to the gym and train every day, it's serious, man. These guys pour their hearts out to entertain us in that ring and to show us their talent, and we have to respect them, man, and love them for what they do. But it's a serious sport, and it's a dangerous sport. It's very dangerous. You know, and you know, that's why when people say, "Oh, this guy, he got his," it's not a joke, man. When a guy gets knocked out, you know, it's serious because he got brain trauma. You know, my father went in that ring with a brain trauma. Okay, just because they didn't make that one phone call, he probably would have been alive today. You know, he would have been alive today if they would have had an ambulance present. He would have been alive because they would have saved him, you know. But this is a great story. I want people to know, especially these young boxers, know your history, man. Look at these boxers, learn the history, you know what's going on in the boxing game, man. You know, it's serious. Yeah. It's a great sport. I love the sport of boxing. I love the fighters. It takes a lot of heart to get in there, man. It takes heart. And I respect these guys. These guys train so hard that it's unbelievable. Like he said, they never came to the gym to see me train. You will be amazed on the hard work these guys do, man.
Absolutely.
They bust their behinds in that gym, man, and go do what they got to do, and they doing it again every day.
Yeah.
Next.
Quick question too, Will. Because you said like Marvin had a relationship with your pops and stuff like that. But who in the boxing community has helped you with the documentary? Who's showed out for you? Who's been living your hand? All that. You know what I mean?
Well, right now in the boxing community, it's boxing community is pretty grimy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much me and the director, and with it's go to who you know. You know, a lot of people know. I reached out to a lot of people. They pretty much afraid of it, you know, because it talks about head trauma. It's just like football. You know, people have head trauma in football. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, CTE, all that shit is right.
You gotta call me, Will. Call me because I had a concussion. So whenever you need me, just call me.
Exactly. So it's like, it's an educational thing. It's not talking bad about boxing. So a lot of people was afraid of it. I'm like, don't be afraid of it. It's just telling the history of boxing and how it's changing, how it's making boxing better, how there's an ambulance present in every arena that we never had before, how they touch hands in the middle of the ring. You can't run. As soon as the bell rings, you can't run. The guy could still be sitting in the chair. You know, if you see my dad's film, my dad was just still sitting in the chair. He only had a half a second to get up before he was getting punched. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So these are the changes. These are the things that people have to see in the history of boxing. You know what I mean? It's just like people have to get educated, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be a bank teller, right, you got to educate yourself about banking. You understand? Educate yourself. Know about the history. You know, the sport is beautiful, man. What it's given to me today and giving to the people around the world, how to teach people how to box, how to punch, and how to do that combination, how to look good on hitting some boxing mitts, man. It lightens up people's lives. Yeah. That's what people want. People don't want to get hit. And these are people that I'm working with. You understand? Look good. Hit the mitts. You know, and you see Peter on the video with his clients, and they having fun hitting the mitts, man. They love that, man. They love sweating. They love being in shape. You know, they need something different. You know, and boxing is what it is today.
Yeah. Again, you know, let's not speed past what you said, Will, because you touched back on what we talked about education. So education is not only about the sport, but it's about the country that you're in. Okay, so let's make no mistake about it. Boxing is a $1 trillion sport, right? Like many other sports, right? And it's not controlled by us, right? So it's controlled by a select group of people that do not want to be held accountable for mistakes, just like football, right? See, what again, we talk about this all the time, straddling the fence. You got all this fucking money, you make all this money, but you don't invest it into education and protection and things of that nature, right? That's why they don't want to reach out to you, because they don't want what's going to come out to be a stain to show that they dropped the ball, right?
Message.
And a $3, like you said, a $3 fucking call. So technically what they said to you indirectly was, guess what? The $3 wasn't worth the price of your father's life.
100%.
You understand? That's the fucking message that they said. The $3 that we would have had to spend, knowing that we made infinite times that on this fight, wasn't worth the time it would have taken to make that call, or the money it would have taken to make that call to save your father's life. Unfortunately, we see that way too often. I'm a football player. I went to Kennedy. You understand? I played football for a very long time. And again, remember what like my cousin said, the CT, that only became a big deal when so many people now are outraged about it, where they're forcing them to say, forcing them to take, they're making movies about you. You have to bring the injustice and things to light. If not, then you know what they're going to say? Well, shit, they ain't saying nothing about it, then it's okay, right? That's the first side. The second side is, again, we're talking capitalism, right? Let's talk capitalism. Unfortunately, what they're not going to say to you is your father's death was an acceptable loss to what they're making, right? There's no different than what these companies do today. Not only sports, but a lot of other companies put out dangerous products that they know are going to cause harmful effects on our people, but they have insurance and they have money set aside and say, yeah, if somebody sues us, and yeah, we'll pay out this much, but we're going to make this much. So it's what's called an acceptable risk. And they do that. This is actual common business practice. And until you educate yourself about it and actually take a stand on saying we're not going to allow this, because guess what? The guys making the decisions, they ain't the motherfuckers in the ring. Huh? They ain't the motherfuckers in the gym. Ain't the motherfuckers in the gym. So
ain't in there.
You understand what I'm saying? Right. All you smart motherfuckers that know better have never done it. So again, education. How are you that has never done this, has never trained, has never done this on any level, going to tell us that dedicate our lives to this craft how it should be done? Did the common sense train completely miss a continent? Yeah. But this is what we're allowing.
But real quick, before I know brother Pete got to leave too. And before you leave, brother Pete, I would love to ask you, what was if there's one thing that you could change, bro, what would that be in boxing? What was the one thing you could change? Was something that you would have wanted to implement?
Oh man, of course I would know right away. You want to hear
Absolutely,
it?
Bro.
Say no.
Well, we lost you. Damn it. I didn't hate.
Learning to say no.
Learning to say no.
Period. To say no.
I didn't learn to say no enough. I didn't learn to say no enough. That's what I would say. The only thing I regret. And saying no to my family. Said your family do you the worst. You got to expect everybody else to message. I should have just learned to say no. So I think what Brother Chad just said is like, if I was smart at that, I would have thought about that, but I didn't think it was just like I thought, and I wasn't the savior. I didn't come to save nobody. I basically stopped myself from going into the direction that I could have easily went to the direction. My dad did federal time, 7.5 years in federal pen. My dad was locked up with Big Floyd. My dad used to do business with Big Floyd. Those type of things that happen. If I knew how to just say no, that would have got me in a more place. But like I said, I can't change that. But what I go back to, if anybody was listening, this is what I would tell somebody: learn to say no, especially to the ones that say that they love you.
Message.
Now you got to get the baby for that.
Yeah, man. I know, Brother P got to go. We got a couple more questions. We got some time, bro.
I love y'all. I gotta be out. I love y'all.
Love you, bro.
Will, man, I appreciate. I would like to catch up with you to hear about that time when we sat down when I did need a trainer.
So listen,
came in my class. Oh, we're gonna do kangaroo. We're gonna eat kangaroo.
Definitely, man. When I come to the city, I'm definitely gonna come see you, man. I'll definitely come see you, brother.
Yeah, Brother Pete, like we told you before, this is not Brother Pete's first time on the show. Like we told you before, Brother Pete, you're definitely a part of the family. We will definitely make it our business to continue. And absolutely, yeah, you definitely could come on back. You definitely could. You party.
You was fucking party today, my guy.
And listen, this is seriously, before you leave, Brother Pete, this is what this platform is created for. Like this, you see? Getting a brother like you that experienced it, lived the life, a brother like Will who experienced it through his father, putting you two guys together. You two are the experts. You two are the guys that have all the knowledge and the experience about the sport that need to be the forefront of the voice to say, this is what we need change to protect the next up and coming people that's coming behind us. Not some motherfucker that never did it before. You two guys. You understand? So we appreciate you, man. And we gonna holler at you.
Love y'all. God bless.
Love you, bro.
See you later.
Yeah, bro.
Well,
I do want to ask you too, Will.
Yeah,
we was talking about the what's the name? About the prison time. When you said 15 years, bro, you went in 18, came out 34. We interviewed a brother named Shannon Holmes. He's actually a writer, best-selling author, bro. You know what I mean? He said something about never going home, never go home again. He said, yo, when you come out, it was people was pregnant. Everything's changed when you came home. So how did you get acclimated to life when you came back, bro? What was that like?
Well, it went pretty fast for me because I was just so excited to be released, you know, and coming into a new world and definitely being embraced by family and just looking at the world differently, you know. And it was pretty scary in the beginning because I'm like, wow, like this is different. Like this is what's going on. Like, you know, I walked into my grandma's house and like everything was little. Like the kitchen was small. Like I'm like, wow, I'm really grown up now. Like, you know, you know how you go to your old high school and you like, damn, I sat in them little chairs.
Nice.
So that's how.
Damn.
In 2004, you came back to it was 5XTs. You came back to cell phones and ringtones.
Like,
yeah.
Like, wait, I can see a motherfucker on this. What the fuck?
Yeah, man, it was weird. Like text messaging. Like we didn't have cell phones back then. We had the big phones back then, you know, or we used the phone on the block, you know, and put a couple of dimes in it.
Yeah, that's because, you know, when you you know, back in the day, you know, technology was first of all, the internet wasn't even around when
wasn't around.
Right, like you said, they had started to just introduce the first cell phones, the i1000 and all that, you know, the big 18 BA Baracus phone and all that, you know, and that shit was super expensive. You know what I mean? You know, we talk about acclimation, right? It is equally important to understand what you went through in prison, but it is also equally important to understand your transition back home, because the recidivism rate that we talk about now, that is determined by the education and your experience and the support system that you have while you're doing your bid, right? Because you could have very easily came home, been overwhelmed by the world changing now so rapidly, right? And said, I can't deal with this. Let me go back to what I know, and easily found yourself back inside behind those walls.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is a friend of mine told me, who was doing life, and he goes, well, there's going to be one challenge you're going to have when you get it out to the world. You're going to learn how to deal with emotions, what love is, what is to know pain. And he was right, because I wasn't feeling that. When you in the system, you're pretty much numb. You just like living normal life, and that's your world right there. But when you come out to the world, now you got to deal with emotions. You see family, you like, your heart drops. You never felt this feeling. Like, you're like, what's going on with my body? Like, it's just like emotional stage. You're like, what's going on? I never felt this before. Yeah. You feel love by the people. Anger. Why are you coming at me like that? So it was pretty hard for me in the beginning. So I had to do a lot of alone time and try to figure it out. And I didn't even want a cell phone. I said, I don't want that. I'm good. I'll catch up to you. Because it was just too much information. It was too much information to absorb, you know. So I had to focus.
It's called the sensory overload, and people don't understand that that's a real thing.
Yes,
you are a human being. Your brain is a supercomputer, but too much information will shut you down. Right?
Yes.
It's called the sensory overload. That's why when a lot of people they don't understand why the government moves the way it moves, right? Oh, we should know this and we should know that and we should know. You can't know all of that because it will overload you. It will overload you, and instead of progressing you forward, it'll actually shut you down, and you'll actually stay stagnant because you won't know what to do with so much information. That's why as children up into adults, you learn slowly. You learn something, and then you build upon what you just learned, right? In first grade, they don't teach you advanced mathematics and rocket science. And no, they teach you basics, right? And then second grade, you build. It has to be slowly so that you can accept it, understand it, and then implement it. If they overload you before you have a chance to catch up to the last thing, then it'll be a sensory, you'll shut down. Yeah. You'll actually shut down. And a lot of people shut down.
Yeah. And it's hard, man. It's really hard. It's not easy, man. When that emotional stage comes in, as soon as you touch first time, like you're like, okay, what is this? Like, but and the crazy part is, and when you're in the system, like when I first got there, they used to have college courses. They took all that away. All that out. Yeah. They don't have anything. Facts. Nothing. They just want you to sit there and kill yourself.
What's your thoughts on that? Don't rush past that. What is your thoughts on when we talked about the importance of education, right? And the recidivism rate. What is your thoughts on the fact that them taking something away is not accidental? What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they want you to commit suicide, man. That's all that is. Because when I first got there, I was doing educational courses. They had plumbing, and we just took it in one day, in a snap of a finger. Everything was gone. So we like, what are we supposed to do now?
Nothing.
They want you to do nothing. They want you to be, when you get out, they want you to come back because it's a business now.
It's a business. Nothing. It's a business. Institutions are privatized. It is a huge money maker. So the more you go out, what did I just say to you? If you're a boxer, how many people do you give a job to? If you're convicted, or even if you're arrested for a crime, how many people do you give a job to? The police officers, the sergeant, the medical staff, the judge, the stenographer. Look how many people one person gets arrested and goes through the system. Even if it gets thrown out, look how many people you give a job to.
You give a job, yeah.
You're a money. You are a money maker. That's what you are a number to them.
But even just shout out to you, bro. Like your mental toughness, bro. Because like you said, it's tough. You're dealing with these emotions now. And like, well, what was it like when you got out? What was the opportunities like? Was you able to get a job? Because I know it's tough. Like you said, how do you go back? But I was making $100,000 a day, and now I'm gonna do the right thing. And that's the fighting. The good fight is the hardest fight, brother.
It's hard. When as soon as I got out, I got a good friend of mine who's like a brother's name is Ralphie Uola, and he pretty much had the personal training business on lock downtown New York City, on 56th Street. And he was like, "Listen, man, you're gonna come over here, all right?" He said, "And you gonna." I got certified within 24 hours. Took the whole test, got certified. I started working in the gym, and he's like, "You know them workouts you were doing in the penitentiary?" He said, "You're gonna do it with them, but you're gonna be a nice little easy. You're gonna just be easy with them." And just create, and whatever you learned on that certification, you just do it and find out their fitness goals. And I took off from there. And guess what? This is when I start meeting great people, people that worked in Wall Street, people that were CEOs, these big wigs, like they didn't mind dropping $20,000 on personal training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I stood pretty busy, and that's when I got into it. I said, hold up, they like this. Well, let me bring my boxing mitts involved in this.
Yeah.
Because they wasn't hip on it. So I'm like, let me bring out the gloves and we could do 30 minutes fitness and then 30 minutes to hit some boxing mitts. And they loved it. So I've implemented that. And that's what really brought me. And I was always in that area around good people. And I worked downtown, you know, and I end up, you know, I trained Susan Sarandon, the actress. I was around some of the housewives of New York City. I trained them. And you just around a good surrounding of people, you know what I mean? And I stick out like a sore thumb, you know? It's not too many us around them. And they absolutely. I love this guy. This guy's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Because we are good people, man. We are peaceful people. And we do put out love, man. But we just don't put it out to ourselves.
Damn.
Message.
That's
understand?
Yeah, that was real.
We just don't love, because we looking at our brother. We like, man, you know, because let me tell you something. Wherever I went, when I went to Australia, you know, they went crazy. Like, you from, like, just our accent. They love me over there because they know we good people. They like, what's going on? I see this stuff on the news, and you awesome, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be around you all the time. You know. But that's the image that the media gives you. I said, don't let my brothers find out they can come over here.
It's gonna be a wrap. Motherfucking kangaroo hopping some things up. Hold on. You know, hopping some things over there.
Hold on. So it was first of all, you saying that to them, the message they got from that was,
if I raise up, gonna be trouble.
That's further over. I wanted to lighten up and say that to you. Like, I wanted to lighten up a little bit. You went to Australia. You a boxer. I know I'm being funny, but I kind of always wanted to do this because I'm like nuts. So I'm like an adrenaline junkie. You was a boxer. You in Australia. Did you ever fight a kangaroo? Like, can they really fight? Like, I want to know.
Motherfucking jab is stiff. Rock your shit.
No, listen. It all goes well till they stand up on that tail and kick you.
Motherfucking chug like this. Used to be brolic.
Some brolic ass. Yo,
that's real. They real.
Yeah.
That's real, man. Ain't nothing about they can fight. Kangaroos, you gotta stay away from them things. You know what I'm saying?
Who the fuck is teaching kangaroos how to box in Australia?
It's natural for them, man. It's natural for them to defend themselves, man. It's just natural. You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm gonna be honest, ladies and gentlemen, for the listeners, we're gonna do it for content because I don't give everybody know me. I'm nuts. So I'm gonna fight a kangaroo, man. I might get fucked up, but I gotta shoot the 5. I gotta shoot the 5 with
and that's before the stiff jab.
I'm gonna do it for content. I'm gonna do it for content, but I gotta shoot the 5 with it. I gotta see if I got what it take. You know, I gotta see if I got what it take.
Nah, we got to jump on. That's a pass. I can't let them get to you like that. So that's wild.
If I get kicked in the stomach, I'm staying down. I'm done. I will not get
But speaking of content, bro, like as you're talking about content, yeah, that's a great idea too. Well, because what you said was when you were doing the training, you implemented the boxing aspect to it, right, and helped you expand your clientele and all that, right? One piece of advice, bro, just keep filming that shit. And I don't think there's anybody who's doing jailhouse workouts and made it mainstream. I don't think there's anybody that's done and implemented some stuff like that. So with your story and your personal brand, bro, with your family story, I would definitely consider stuff like that, bro. Doing little workouts that you can do, you know what I mean? Stuff like that in the house, calisthenic workouts, all those type of things, man. And that's going to help you build the brand even further. So when you when you do need those opportunities, motherfuckers just like that.
Exactly.
They see your energy, bro. They know your story, and that's why I'm like, we honored to have you on the platform, bro. So we can help, bring awareness, however much we can. You know what I'm saying? So they need to see that. They need to hear that shit.
Yeah,
real.
People gonna love it, man. People love working out, especially our people. We love to work out. We love to exercise. We want to look good. Point blank, we just want to look good. You know what I mean? And like I tell all my clients, I say, listen, it's nothing wrong with taking 1 hour for yourself. 1 hour. Just for yourself, man, to work out. You know what I mean? And like I said, like Mayweather, I never taught boutique boxing, meaning boutique means it's no contact. And I was taught very well by an individual who've been in the business for at least 40 years. And he's like, Will, like when I first started the business, I was like, I know boxing, but I never spoke on a microphone before. Like how that's going to work for me. And I learned, and it happened to just come through. I guess it's because I love the sport so much that, I want people to enjoy it and have fun. If you see my videos on my Instagram, like it's like a party. Like I got the music bumping and people dancing, people punching and doing exercise, man. And after that workout, I make everybody lined up and everybody gives each other a high five. And, I thank them for coming out. And, it's like a family. You know what I mean? So you got to bring that closeness to them, man. That's what makes it.
That's definitely the vibe it gives off, man. And some of them women's jabs, I've seen them combos. I'm like, God damn. That what you teach them, brother? The uppercut?
Yeah, they tough, man. They tough, man. They tough, and they love it,
He said, try to snatch this purse, man. I dare you.
Uppercut.
Dare you.
Left hook, right hook.
Come for this Chanel. You're going to get you more than what you asked for.
So thank you, Will. Whooping ass out there.
So, let me ask, we asked, we had a couple of people, like we said, we've had a couple people on the show that unfortunately had to do some time in prison. And to lighten it up a little bit, we asked them, did you have any good moments in prison? Do you have a good moment when you were in prison that you could say, you know what, even though I'm here, this is a good moment, like for me in my life? Did you have any of those?
Yeah, I had a couple of good moments, just being around the brothers and sitting on a round table and just talking about what we're going to do with our lives, who's going to make it out, what we were planning, how we're going to set our lives straight. Like when we get out, like we had to make a commitment to that, because it's either you're going to survive here or you're not. Because if you're not going to survive there's no way you're going to survive out in the real world, in the real world. But yeah, I had time, I was educated. I was educated in prison on how to be humble, and that's hard when I was a kid, because, when you're a kid, you have no feeling. When the day I got sentenced, I was like, okay, but now that I know who I am and what I am, like, no, that's not happening. You know what I mean?
I can't even picture that, bro. I can't picture seeing the judge, motherfucking 15, and just like, I'm like this before I walk in. So 15?
Yeah, it's tough, man. But like I said, I was educated. I came out. I've been home since 2004. Life has been great to me. There's up and downs in life, dealing with emotions and family, and it's just part of life. But I overcame the worst. I think is the worst thing. I don't even wish that on my worst enemy. You know what I mean? Because it's tough, man. But we got to live a day at a time and live it to the fullest, man. Because if you're not living it to the full, because tomorrow's not promised for nobody, especially nowadays.
Facts.
We know that.
Any like joyous occasions, man? You guys sitting around the table, you guys singing by the phone. Get together, a little singing and dancing, with the metal cup banging on it. Anything like that, Will? I'm just,
definitely, we ain't doing no singing and dancing.
Okay, hold on. The reason I ask is because, ladies and gentlemen, just in case anybody wanted to know, you can have different type of experiences, and when let me just show y'all something.
Wonder if she's gonna stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home anytime she goes away.
Okay,
why you stop stomping like that?
Put me in the documentary, Will. I do it. Put me in the documentary, Will. You know what I'm saying? I want to lighten it up for you a little bit.
I love that.
No, listen. We like this is what we do on the show, man. We like to have great conversation, but we like to laugh and joke, not because of what we're talking about is not serious, but just to let the people know, man, that you cannot break us.
That's right.
We will not be broken. You understand? And we do these things to show you that yes, we'll take the hit, we'll take a knee, we might get banged up, scraped up, but as a culture, as a people, you can't break us, right? And through education and a great village.
Let me see audio.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, now you're on mute. You're on fire too. Nigga, you're on fire. You just cooled off. Nigga, let you run the ISO. Nigga lost the ball. He running the ISO. He's about to lay it up. And ladies and gentlemen, for the audio listeners, but it's all good, man. Wait. I'm trying to give a second before we go to something else. All right. Well, why are you doing that, broski? I know we wrapping up on time, man. What does the mountaintop look like for you, bro? Because we asked that a lot. Matter of fact, let me ask you two questions. What was the mama made it moment? Like, what was one of the brightest, one of the best moments in your life, man, when you came home? What was one of those moments that was just great for you?
Was, seeing my grandma, man. That was the one of the greatest moments of my life, to finally, see her and just hold her and say, I'm here, I made it, And
real,
it's nothing greater than that, man, than seeing my grandma and being with my family,
That's it, man.
Message.
I made it, bro. And now experiencing what you experienced, bro. Redemption story, triumph, everything, man. What does the mountaintop look like for you, bro? What does it look like 10 years, 20 years from now?
Well, like I said, man, I've been just growing and learning and doing different things. I'm in Florida now. I'm not getting any younger, but I feel young. I'm 53 years old. Life is great, man. And, I'm healthy. I thank God every day for that. I got good friends in all walks of life. I met you guys. You guys are amazing. It was a blessing just to come across you, Jarrett, and you guys, and, and we hit it off. And I'm like, man, why not? And trust me, I had a lot of opportunities to talk to plenty of people, but I didn't ever. But it's just, I don't know. I was meant to meet you that day. You know what I mean? And it was a lesson. I was like, oh yeah, absolutely, let's do it. I don't mind. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I take it a day at a time. Life is great, and I'm glad that y'all brought me into you guys' show, and I love it. I seen a couple of y'all episodes, had me in of course. I'm like, yo, these guys got my stomach hurting and my cheek.
Oh wait, hold on.
Hey, I was gonna let you rock with that one, Will. I was on your side. I was gonna let you rock with that one. I didn't like the tone, but I was gonna let you rock with it.
Real talk, bro. As we end off, man, just to give the context, man. Like you said, we were meant to meet that day, bro. What's the odds? And for those listening, off the walk through Forest Projects, we walked through the projects. We showed them what it was like in the hood. Cuzzo showed them what it was like growing up, man. We didn't even get to my hood, and that one video, bro, has 400,000 views. And I remember something that you posted and was like, "Yo, big Bronx energy," and I said something to you, whatever. It was like that. Then you started telling me the story, and I started doing. I'm like, "Yo, bro, like even before I did the research, I'm like, this is for us.
Yeah."
This is what it's about. Don't matter who we had on. Don't matter anything. Like, we appreciate the guests we've had, man. We appreciate the relationships. But this is a platform for us, bro. Brothers from the Bronx, man. Who looked at us. They seen us, bro. They counted us out. They said we weren't shit. We had the black cloud around us, and we fucking still made it out. And they're not going to tell that story. But we fucking will. And we promise we will continue to do that shit. And we're honored to have your story, brother. We're honored to have met you, man. Real shit.
Thank you. And I appreciate each one of you guys, definitely.
I want to add this to you, Will. I understand that you're a Muslim brother. I don't follow a religious denomination. I feel like I live my life on a very spiritual plane. You understand? I have a certain set of morals and boundaries and guidelines that I use to guide my life, which I feel like I have in common because a lot of my morals are in line with a lot of religions that are out there, right? One of the things I believe in is that everything happens for a reason. And this is why I really despise people that act like they've become successful and blah, 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 and they only try to attribute the positive things that's happened in their life and try to erase the negative. No, it's the negative things and the positive things, right? Because this is the way the world works. When you meet somebody or if you do something, let's say when you met Boy George, You didn't meet Boy George by accident. It took a billion actions to put you in that moment at that time and put him in that moment at that time for you to meet. You understand what I'm saying? Even for you to even be born, right? You can only be born at the time when your father and your mother got together at that very specific time and you were conceived at that time. Had it been an hour or two later or an hour or two earlier, it wouldn't have been you. You understand? Because we all know how anatomy works and things of that nature. So things don't happen by accident. It takes billions and billions of actions every day, right? If you didn't go to school that day, if you brushed your teeth for a little longer, if you felt sick, you don't meet him in that moment, right? Your life doesn't go down that path. So anything that is good that's coming out of your life right now is because you've gone through the path that you've gone through exactly how you did to put you in that moment right then and there. You understand?
Message.
You going to prison, getting your education, coming home, you know, going to be a trainer. Everything had to happen exactly in that moment, right? Because if you say, oh, I regret something or I would change something, then if you change that one thing, like the butterfly effect, the movie, you change one thing, it has a ripple effect.
Right.
You understand? And it completely now puts you on a completely different path that you might not be where you are today, right? So unfortunately, a lot of the times we have to go through the bumps, the bruises, the scrapes to get the lessons, to become mentally aware of what we're doing, to be able now to give it back authentically, right? Because now street kids can look and know he's serious or he lived that life. You understand?
No, he didn't tell. He stood tall.
You understand? Because we know our culture. If they don't see it and they don't hear it and they don't know it to be true, they won't believe it.
Message.
Authenticity is key. So, you know, you were put here for a reason to give back in the aspect, and as you were giving back, unfortunately, your father had to lose his life, but it now pushes this narrative and these new protections to save other people. So look at them. You understand? Through tragedy, you can still have the sunshine and have things come about from a tragedy. So that's the message that we want to put through, right? Yes, we make mistakes, right? Live through your mistakes, you know, learn from your mistakes, and then just try to be a better person each day. You're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes, but if you continue to just try to be better every single day, then you'll realize at the end it was all worth it, right?
That's right. Yes.
That's real, man. That's real on that. That's a matter of fact.
We appreciate you, bro. And Peter believe this. Peter wanted to come on. Listen, be clear. We've had 106 episodes. We've never had another co-host on this show. It's just me and my. You understand? He wanted to come on. And you see, right? He wanted to come on and he wanted to be a co-host and he wanted to be a part of your story because he wanted to let you know that you have a brother in arms, right? You have a brother that respects the sacrifice. Look, he came after your father, right? He came, see, the safeties that unfortunately your father helped to put in place saved him.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We lost.
How real it is.
You understand? He got knocked out. What if those safeties wasn't in place? It could have been a repeat of what your father experienced. You understand what I'm saying?
So real.
Guess what? Inadvertently, your father's untimely demise helped be a positive message, not only through you, but through Peter, because anything that Peter does, because he's still here to do it, comes from your father's sacrifice. You see how that changes the culture?
That's
not real.
That's what we're talking about. Yes. So that's why we wanted you on the show. That's why we wanted to help get your story out there, because it's extremely important to understand what we're going through as a culture, right? What we experience as a culture and what we need to do as in working together and education to help better ourselves and move this thing forward.
That's it, man. I think class. So shit, we might be overtime. We went real, man. We three brothers from the Bronx, man.
Yeah, it's a fact. Big Bronx energy.
Big Bronx energy. Brothers from the Bronx, man. So if you don't get anything from this, we can do. If you don't get anything from this conversation as well, there's a lot of things, a lot of gems on this conversation. Yeah. But one thing I also want you guys to stick out is that anything is possible, man. It's mindset. Like Cuzzo said, man, we've three dudes from the Bronx that overcome a lot of shit to be on this conversation today, man. Yeah. And I can speak for myself, man. The things that me and Cuzzo do every single day to put this type of content together, man. Yeah. Like we go through hell and back. And guess what? It's all worth it, man. It's all worth it, man. Because guess what? We doing this shit from the couch, man. We've had Dr. Nose here. We've had so many people here. So if you don't get anything from us, it's the grind, the consistency. We want to show y'all everything. We're gonna show you the bumps, the bruises, and all that, because we know it's not fluffy, man.
That's right.
It's a long journey.
Definitely. Great job.
We're gonna meet up with you in person, Will.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're gonna do a walkthrough. We're gonna do a walkthrough when you come through.
Definitely. Just let me know. You know, I always fly out to the city. You know, because I got my family out there. Just let me know whenever. Of course, when it gets a little warmer. You know
anything below 40.
Just have fucking snow today. Will, do we have Will's number?
Yes,
I got Will's number. Yes, I'm in the group chat.
We can't let you leave without extending you the invitation that we extend to every single one of our guests. Okay, now you have now been invited to be a part of the More Than a Title family, even though you are, you know, episode 105, 106, whatever the case may be. You now have access to 105 other people, right? We are inviting you to our network. Anybody that you've ever seen on the show that you have an idea that you want to get in contact, you want to connect with, you let us know. And just like Peter Quillin, and we will make that happen immediately within the next 24, 48 hours. You understand? We make those introductions because we don't gatekeep. You understand? So now maybe we can put you in contact with somebody to help get your message out, to help spread your program, right? Because if we don't help each other, once again, then we have absolutely no fucking business asking anybody else to help us.
That's right.
So welcome to the family, Will. Welcome to the family.
Man. Appreciate you guys.
Today, Thursday, what we got coming up? What's next?
Shit, on Tuesday. Man, I don't even have the lineup in front of me. I even got the lineup in front of me. But I know we got some crazy people. Damn! It's been a long ass day. I got 3 hours. It's been a crazy day. But yo, I know we got Connie Evans coming up. We also got Mario Armstrong. This is the brother who actually we implemented the bell. We saw this brother on stage, met him at the spot at the conference. We saw him. We stole the bell. Saw him at a party for Doug Melville and told him like, "Yo, bro, we stole your bell, man. So we need you on the show." We stole that shit.
He said you was there. We said absolutely. You ain't want to talk to us when we was there, but you talking to us now, though. Right? You see, again, right? Different scenarios, different places around different people. You networking, right? Oh, these guys are serious. Maybe you didn't take us serious when you seen us in Florida, but you're taking us seriously now. But just in case, you know, we took that bell, homie.
That's it, man. And we gonna
you might as well come on the show and get the bell that we took from you.
That's right. He gave us nothing but love for that, man. And that's what it's about, man. Showing love, man. Appreciating other people. So we got a great April lined up. May we got some crazy. I don't even want to say June. We already know we got some Father's Day specials, all types of stuff. It's gonna be real, man. But once again, thank you to the community. Y'all sit here for an hour and 45 minutes and rock with us and listen to our stories, man. It means a lot to us because this is for y'all. This is for the culture, man. There's so many gems this brother spit today, and so many things that we can learn from it. I know I learned a ton. We appreciate you, bro. And this is what this shit is about, man. I had a great motherfucking time.
Yeah,
great
man.
time.
You know, and listen, this is the first time, just like Peter Quillin, man. This is the first time you've come on the show, but it won't be the last. If you see, if we promote a week or two in advance, if you see somebody that you would like to come on the show and be a co-host, we invite you to also do that, man. If you want to be a co-host and come on and ask some questions and be a part of the conversation, we love that, man, because the more intellect we have, the better the conversations, the more different avenues of approach, the better the outcome, right? So, you know, you got the invitation, brother. Our platform is now your platform. Yeah,
we're gonna get Marvin Hagler. We're gonna get him for free.
Oh, listen, we get Hagler on the show.
He's gone. Hey, Hagler passed away, man. We lost him. We lost him last year. Yeah.
Damn.
You know, but we'll definitely, man. You know, you have somebody on, or whenever y'all want to have me, feel free to call me. I'll come through. You know what I mean? And definitely love y'all show, man. The show's amazing.
Hey yo.
Get that,
yo. It was to have me. It was the whenever you want to have me.
Pause.
I don't like the tone of that, but listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys. We love you guys. Like my cousin likes to say, we are growing, we are glowing. It is due to the fact of the support system from our village. That's the supporters, that's the listeners, everybody that comments, likes, shares our material. It's due to the guests that allow us the opportunity to share their story. You heard what he said. He had plenty of opportunities to go somewhere else and he turned it down, and we don't take that lightly. That's why, you know, we don't do clickbait. We're not doing scandal. We do it for the culture, ladies and gentlemen. More Than a Title. We see y'all
here, my guy.
What you know about me? Seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I've done it all, just one.